small town America.
All right. Hey, thank you there, Barry Corbin, for bringing us in here on a Thursday. Guys, y'all don't forget, go over to barrycorbin.com and take a look at the events page. See where a night with Barry Corbin, where he's going to be as he's traveling around. You're not going to be disappointed. It's worth the ticket price. You get to walk down memory lane with Barry Corbin as he talks, and then he hangs around. He takes pictures with you. It's a fun night. And hey, if you notice, we've got a whole different deal. We got the trailer behind us because we are getting ready to actually go on the road. Small Town America. We're going to take the show on the road. We're actually going to be working on a project coming up as everything's getting cold here in Texas. We're going to kind of be traveling around to some warmer areas, but we're going to be working on some other projects. And I'm going to take the show with me. That's the reason I got the camper going. And why maybe a little bit of it sounds a little bit different because we've kind of got our portable show that we're trying to put together. And I hope it sounds good. If it does, let me know in the comments below. The audio is sounding really good. Like, share, subscribe, go over to smalltown-america.org and, do all that good stuff. So subscribe to it because this past week we were over at the TYBR, the Texas Youth Bull Riding Association, kicked off their 2024 season. And you can go to our YouTube channel. You'll see all the action that we had from the World Finals. And it was so much fun that we actually are going to pick them up and follow their entire season all the way up to the World Finals again this year. And we're excited about it. In fact, tonight I'm going to release week one. All the competition that we did on Sunday is going to be released on our YouTube channel. So make sure that you go over there and subscribe to our channel so that you can be a part of it. Guys, we are super excited not only to get in the camper and go on the road and do some stuff in 2024, but this past week, as I was listening to different shows and let different people talk, chaos was like a big topic of everybody's discussions of where we are in a society right now. And I kind of got to digging into that a little bit and also praying and prepping for this trip and this adventure that God's taken us on in Small Town America. And I realized myself that I've been kind of harboring a little bit of bitterness here lately, coming out of the holidays, and now we're getting ready for Valentine's and the other holidays and seasons that are coming up. But I've been kind of walking around with a lot of bitterness in my heart. So I started doing a lot of research and studying and trying to, the whole thing is to be better. We're all sinners. We are all fall short. But if we can better ourselves daily and look at that walk, so much better we are. And I ran across this deal and I want to share it with you because we talk about, everybody's talking about the chaos. Well, we're going into 2024. This is an election season. Chaos, anger, bitter, hatred. That's all part of this chaos that just keeps the media keeps throwing at us. That's out there. And they create this bitterness in our hearts and bitterness in our minds. And that if we don't release it, it's going to keep continuing this chaos. And as like I said, as we're getting prepped for 2024, being an election season, there's still some bitterness out there towards Trump and Trump supporters that's creating chaos and continuing to bring. I mean, nobody's talking about the other side of the fence. They only want to look at our side of the fence. But the grass is always greener on the other side. Well, we have to look at ourselves. For me, like I said, I found out that I was kind of harboring some bitterness probably throughout the whole year of just situations, things that are going on in life towards peoples, towards organizations, towards companies. I was just walking around with that. And, I've got to release it. But I found this great little sermon piece here, and I thought it was really great. And I want to share it with you. So let's take a look.
Present to you 4 truths to think about, because Jesus said bitterness produces intense internal torment. That's the whole concept of what he's talking about here. Jesus said that we hand ourselves over to the torturers. Look back at verse 34. When we embitter our hearts against someone, Those who live in the gall of bitterness will imprison themselves in an emotional concentration camp. You, when holding on to an unforgiving spirit, you become a victim of immense internal torment. Nurturing bitterness is as foolish as drinking poison, because that's all it is. It poisons everything. Hebrews 12:15 says that bitterness defiles every part of us. Not just our lives, it also extends out from us, and we begin defiling others. Our refusals to forgive wall us into solitary confinement. Bitterness becomes our tormentor. Jesus warns that any believer is a candidate for this unspeakable emotional and mental torment when bitterness-producing unforgiveness is practiced in their lives. Do you see why Paul lists bitterness first in that list of spirit quenchers? So we see why Paul said, put away all bitterness. He says it's so deadly, it's so painful, it's so quick to spread, it must be dealt with right away. A bitter person gets cut and punctured by the words or actions of others, those wounds untreated by the healing grace of tender-hearted, forgiving attitudes. Do you know what the 32nd verse is? All of us probably learned that. And be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another. Why? Because one another deserves it? No. Even as God, for Christ's sake, hath forgiven you. And so without the application of the healing grace of a tender-hearted, forgiving attitude, our wounds become a source of malignant poison. This wound infects the wounded person with bitterness, a hurtful condition that touches every part of their life. As Hebrews 12:15 warns us, bitterness spreads through our life until everything in it becomes defiled by that poison. This is what the writer of Hebrews says, look carefully lest anyone fall short of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springing up cause trouble, and by this many become defiled. In the context where we started of Titus 2, these women that were saved in the church in Crete had every reason in the world to not be forgiving. They were raised that way, they were bred that way, they were taught that way, they were treated that way. They were perpetuating the unforgiving, venge-filled society they were born into. But God says, when you're born from above, my grace comes into you. And my grace teaches you to deny the way you were born, deny the way your culture has formed you. And my grace energizes you to live the impossible life, to live a life that loves those that hurt you, that forgives and is tender-hearted. And so we need to say no to bitterness daily.
All right, say no to bitterness on daily. And it's something that I know I've been struggling with. And like I said, as I was preparing to take the show on the road and just saying, Lord, where are we going to go? Getting in the truck and we headed down the road, what do I need to get rid of? And it was the bitterness. It's being more forgiving. And like I said, it's not just directed towards one person or organization or company. It's just things that we live in a culture and a life. We somehow have become so offensive. I was just in Facebook, social media jail for 2 weeks. I guess, coming out of that, it makes you really stop and think of where I'm at, and should I be bitter towards TikTok and Facebook and YouTube, or should I be more forgiving and just say, okay, I'm going to accept these terms and we're going to adjust to, because we, small town America, as I've said before, if we continue to stand together, band arms together, the evil's not going to come into our community, because we are here getting reconnected with our neighbors. We're loving our neighbors. We're loving our city. We're loving our state. We're loving our country. And it brings me back to my point of go over to smalltown-america.org and grab your copies of Prayers for the Nation. It's published. It's chock full of prayers. We're going into election season. We need to be praying for our nation right now and making sure that we are voting and electing the officials that's going to take care of us as small town Americans. The other one is take the pledge. And I got to give a big shout out. I'm glad that everybody that tuned in on Sunday Neil McCoy just celebrated 8 years straight. I was glad that whenever I published that is when I actually found out that Neil had been doing it 2,413 days in a row. When I published Take the Pledge, he now just celebrated on Sunday 8 consecutive years of taking a stand, getting up wherever he's at, whether he's on a tour, whether he's on a cruise, wherever he's at, 10 a.m., 9 to 10 a.m., gets up and does the pledge every morning. So hats off to Neil McCoy. Great deal. He's going to continue to keep going. And actually go over and like and share his page. He pops up live every morning. And then we're going to be hitting the road. If you want to help preserve our heritage, get in the truck with us, help fuel us out, go over to smalltown-america.org. Click on that little flyer right there. It'll give you a list of how you can help us with gas, or if you want to be a part of the show. Lots of things that's going on, and we want to be a part of it. And we're going to enjoy it. Leave in the comments down below where you're located, because if we're coming to a town near you, I want to make sure that we stop and give you a shout out and holler at what you are and what you're doing. So the other thing too is I talk about celebrating and getting behind the independent guys. You've heard me talk in the past about we don't need Hollywood if we'll just support independent filmmakers, independent creators, content creators, independent artists. We have so many musical artists and guests that we feature here on the show, and they can't get a record deal when they deserve a record deal because they don't have enough followers on Instagram. That's how social media has gotten to the point now, is if you don't have enough Instagram followers, then nobody cares who you are. But we're really excited to support them and feature them here on the show, and we're going to continue to do that. And there's 3 top picks that I want you to start following. One of them is our friend Chad Prather, and a lot of y'all are probably maybe like, hey, what has happened to Chad? Well, he's no longer with the Blaze. He's now doing independent. He's taking it off on his own, doing his own independent thing. He kicked off his show. Let me just give you the intro, but make sure you go over and follow Chad Prather, and what he's doing with his show now that he's gone independent.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. Man, I should say it is like the episode of the Chad Prather Show. With brand new here in the cave. And I want to welcome everybody to a new year. I want to welcome you to a new show, new and improved, I guess. I don't know. We'll see if it's improved, but it's definitely a more independent sort of deal that we're doing here. And I'm so thankful that you guys are entering into the new year with me. We got some big things coming. It's really going to be cool. You guys who have been a part of the Chad Prather Show for so long, it's going to grow, man. We're going to have new friends, new faces. It's going to be awesome, and just have an opportunity to put out some commentary and some thoughts into the world that I think are going to be really, really cool. And we're going to have some fun along the way. We got so many ideas that are floating around out there that, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you.
Right. So make sure you go over Chad Prather's new show, all independent, putting it on his own, which really kind of gives him some of the freedom. I mean, he's going to probably get social media jail like I was, being banned, because that's about the only people that can stop him now. He doesn't have syndication and networks and all of that that's going to judge and tell him what he can and can't do, who sponsors what. He's doing it all on his own. So it takes you, small town America, to get behind the independent guys. Help us out. Help us get down the road. Help us continue to growing. He also has a musical career going on. His comedy tour is going on. Go and check out the Chad Prather, chadprather.com, and get the tickets and go and visit and support these guys. The other guy that I want you to start tuning into, who is doing Daily Truth, is our friend Anthony Russo. He started his own deal. He's got it book out, but he's doing a brand new show every morning, every day. I don't know exactly what his times are. We'll take a look here. Here's one of the segments, and we'll come back and we'll talk about it.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Truth, the truth in 5 minutes or less, presented by me, Anthony Russo. Hope everybody's having a great day, middle of the week. Hump day. All right. So do me a favor, like this video, share this video, do all the things in this video. I'm talking about gym shoes, running shoes today, but not about running per se, talking about the ability that we all have And no matter how flooded the market or no matter how big the names are, consumer markets are growing. So I'm going to make a reference about a specific brand or two of running shoes, On and Hoka, and talk about their competition in the space of running shoes and how it is a microcosm for anything that you may want to do in your own life as an entrepreneur or on the side if you're thinking of all these little things you could do along with your regular job and regular career. So again, as people jump on, welcome. Go ahead and hit the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. Do all those things. Get the algorithm bumping. Thank you for everybody that's joined to this point on all of these videos. And my daily truth in 5 minutes or less. By the way, my plan is to do this for 300. I'm going to do this for 365 days on weekdays only. If you can't tell, that's a calendar year, if you're wondering. All right. Let's get the party started. A little motivation, inspiration to get you over the middle of the week, hump day motivation. All right. So I was at the gym. I've owned, by the way, On running shoes. And if you don't know what they are, go ahead and look at their website. You've probably seen them on people. You see them all over anywhere you go now, grocery stores, gyms, wherever. I was at the gym the other day and I'm looking around the gym and I did not see a single pair of Nikes, which I found amazing. There was like 15 people at Anytime Fitness. I saw like 5 pairs of Ons. I saw a Noble and I saw some Hokas and something else. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't Nike. And I'm like, think about the world we live in. And remember, Nike came out of nowhere when they got Jordan and Prefontaine and then the swoop, all that stuff. They were against all the big names, Converse and whatever. And then they took over the market and they still own the market. Let's be very clear. They still own it. But in a very short matter of time, I can tell you that people, when I started buying Ons about 3, 4, maybe even 5 years ago, people had no idea who they were and no idea why. They were like, well, I've never seen those before. Now they have expanded their their line to have so many different shoes. And now you see it throughout the gyms with that, and people aren't wearing their Nikes anymore, which I find fascinating because I make you a bet, a Swiss shoemaker like On, that, by the way, I have their statistics. Their statistics went they went up just not including 2023, which is to me the year they completely blew up. When they their first year of recording sales, they actually, and by the way, end of 2022, they actually have less than 1% global market share, but I think that's changing in 2023 drastically. Granted, that is global. Actually, they say at the end of, 8% footwear market share at the end of 2021. So that's in the United States. So yeah, I'd say that's starting to get accurate. That's 2021. They increased 400% between 2019 and 2024. Or 2022. That's huge. That's a huge mark. 400%. That's 4 times growth. And I can tell you 2023 is even more. And they are now over 1.3 billion in 2022, which means maybe 2 billion in 2023. Don't know the statistics. But it goes to show you that if you put out a quality product, whether it's you, yourself, a small business, a store in a local area, whatever it is, there is always room for consumerism. There is always room for innovation. This is what happened. Think about what happens when you don't innovate. So maybe this is for the other coin, for the people that are out there that need to hear the truth, that if your business isn't doing something new and fresh and maybe utilizing AI and what you can do in order to modernize your business, you could end up like Blockbuster. One Blockbuster left in the whole country, and that's just because it's a novelty and somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. And they're a little weird out there. If you're watching the Pacific Northwest, I apologize. You're not weird. A little bit weird. Okay, so with that said, think about it like that. Think about it, the fact that no matter what the market, no matter how difficult you think it is to get involved in this, that, or the other, there is always room. On running shoes, Hoka, if these are the shoes that you see at the gym now all the time or see at the grocery stores, I don't know if maybe it's regional, but I can tell you out here in Texas, in this part of Stephenville, Texas, it's like 60% of the shoes are Ons or Hokas. I think that's pretty impressive. So remember, you have the ability to create something great and change the game, be an interrupter. That's what I need you to do. That's today's Daily Truth in 5 minutes or less. Guys, if I didn't say at the beginning, I don't know if I did, theartofdoubling.com. I've got 5 minutes or 5 steps for free to get unstuck. Just a little quick video that hopefully will help you out. And then I have an option for a free book with a course after that. But this is free. It's a free 5 minute 5 steps to get unstuck. Go ahead and check it out. Do me that solid. And hopefully you might like it. Just theartofdoubling.com. Theartofdoubling.com. Have a great day. God bless. Have a great rest of your week. Hump day.
That's right, Anthony Russo. Motivational, informational, educational. Those are the things, guys, and those are what you need to be looking at, the content that you need to be watching. Those are two guys that I really encourage you to go over and check out their shows, check out what they're doing, get behind them, support them. Our other one is our friend, Scott Mendes. We hadn't had him on in a while, but I want to make sure that we're shooting out Western Harvest Ministries every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Go over to his Facebook page. You can follow along. He's doing a sermon live right there at 11 a.m. Make sure you're going over there and following Scott and all the stuff that he's doing with Western Harvest Ministries. Again, too, that's what I talk about. We don't need Hollywood. We don't need big syndications. What we need is you, small town America, to get behind us, support us, help us, and we all do it. We talk about, hey, there's bitterness. When we forgive each other and we serve one another, we're not going to have that bitterness. That's part of what, don't be bitter. Work on it daily. You don't have to be upset. Don't take it so personal. It might not be actually directed towards you. But so we're getting ready. Like I said, we're getting ready. We're going to hit the road. We're going to be coming to a town near you. And we are looking forward to featuring you, the people and places that make this nation great. And as we're leaving here in Texas, we're going to try to beat the winter blast. I did want to leave you, our friends over at Channel 8, to put together some weather tips. And you know me, I like to share that. Be there, be the information, inspirational, motivational. This should try to kind of help you out as you're getting ready. You only have a couple of days before the cold weather hits. So thank you, Channel 8.
The simplest step to take is checking the temperature. If it is below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, that means it is freezing outside, meaning certain precipitation could impact the roads. The first type you might see is snow, which can become more dangerous as more cars drive through it, making it more slick. You'll want to make sure and keep your speed slow and steady, as applying extra gas or stopping at an angle could become dangerous. Next is sleet, which is when snow melts and refreezes as sleet just before hitting the ground. You'll want to give yourself more time if you need to stop or turn. Lastly, black ice. The reason this one's a problem is it's not really black and it doesn't really look like ice. It's practically invisible when it's on the road, which is why most cars don't know about it until they're already on it. Now, black ice tends to form in places without a lot of sunshine and places that aren't driven on that often. If you do find yourself on black ice, first thing to do is remain calm. There's not much you can do or want to do when you're on black ice, especially hitting the brakes. If you do feel the back of your car starting to turn, grab your wheel and turn it in that same direction. Now, in terms of what types of roads you should avoid or be cautious on, that would be elevated roadways, such as ramps or bridges, as these are the first to freeze over during cold weather. And no matter what's on the road or where you are, you should always drive slower and increase your distance from the car in front of you. If you follow these tips, you'll make the roadway a safer place for yourself and others this upcoming week. In Dallas, I'm Jay Wallace.
From frigid air to ice and snow, cold temperatures can take a toll on our bodies.
We shunt blood flow to the central kind of core of our body in an attempt to stay warm.
Dr. Christopher Bozzoli is an emergency physician at Cleveland Clinic. He says this time of year, doctors not only see rises in ER visits for respiratory viruses as more people seek refuge inside from the cold, but also frostbite and hypothermia. Bozzoli says what you wear can help keep you safe. Protect the parts of your body most vulnerable to frostbite, like toes, fingers, nose, and ears, by dressing in warm, dry clothing.
Lots of layers, and especially the layers close to your skin. You want to have breathable fabrics if possible, especially if you're engaging in activity.
Bozzoli says a sudden change in temperature and humidity can also irritate certain medical conditions like asthma. He says to make sure you have enough medicine on hand, and if you use an electric medical device, make sure you have a way to back it up if the power goes out. He says to also be aware of how you heat your home.
We don't want to run any engine-operated equipment or gas or propane-powered heating devices indoors because of the risk of carbon monoxide.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
Right. So, guys, toilet paper, bread, milk, eggs. Think about what you need for the week. You don't have to take the whole store. There's others. Love one another. Help your neighbor. supply for your neighbor. But yes, we shouldn't have to tell you don't put a generator in the house. Don't be careful. A lot of the conditions that happen here during the winter times are people that actually have the gas stoves when they light the tops of the fires on the top of their stoves and they get something too close to it. Guys, just use your common sense. Make sure that you're watching out for it. Here we are trying to keep it at 30 minutes because we are getting packed up. We're getting ready to go on the road. We are looking forward to getting out there, small town America. I'll be sharing with you where we're going to be for the project that we're working on, but we're going to be visiting towns all along the way. If you want to help out, preserve our heritage, join us. Like, share, leave a comment, help get those algorithms and analytics going for everybody. Keep us going. Go over to smalltown-america.org, click on that flyer right there, and that will take you to how you can help out, whether it's fueling the truck, whether it's helping us with going to the fence with the TYBR, which is going to air later on today on our YouTube channel. So make sure you go over there and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss week 1 of the TYBR. And then there's all kinds of other ways that you can get involved and support us. Make sure you're going over and checking out Barry Corbin. Nights with Barry Corbin. He has a show coming up here in January. Check out Chad Prather where he's performing, and then check out his podcast, new podcast show, all independent, going on his own. Anthony's doing the Daily Truth every day. Tune into him. Coach Rick Smith's doing his stuff. T-Ron's got his stuff. There are so many people. If you go over, when you go to our Small Town America page, we're sharing all the daily devotions that people are doing. And it's amazing. We're going to support these guys. I continue to ask that you like, share, and support them. And then also, while you're over at smalltown-america.org, pick up your copy of Prayers for Our Nation. You need to be praying for its election year, and take the pledge. Just really important that we get behind each other, support one another. And guys, we're looking forward to everything you're doing. We're going to keep you posted as we hit the road here tomorrow. Well, Friday, we're going to hit the road. We're going to be traveling, trying to beat the winter blast that's happening here. Be safe, be good. Until next time, get in the truck. Small Town America.